Hello and good morning. This is the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Eitayo, and we are live today. This is another Monday, and it's such a great day to be alive. And we're excited, and I'm sure you're excited as well. So we'll be connecting with you from Lagos, Nigeria, to the rest of the world, West Africa to the rest of the world. And of course, I'm sure that if you are streaming with us today, please do let us know. Send in a comment. Let us know where you're streaming from. Tell us about your location. Tell us about your weekend. How did your weekend go? And of course, join in the conversation in today. And if you don't mind, you could also ask questions. Our analysts will be live, will be ready to make sure that you have answers to your questions. And please understand that we're here to learn together. We're here to share together. We're here to grow together. It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. And without wasting much time, I repeat, without wasting much time, let me welcome my analyst, looking so fresh, looking so good, always excited, beaming with smiles, bright backgrounds, lovely swag, a lot flowing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Titi in the building.
Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a wonderful week. It's going to be a great month. I think everyone should go into the month very expectant and knowing that, as expectant as you are, that's really what's going to happen. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I without waste too much time, let's welcome Jude in the building.
Good morning, Internet. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning to the rest of the world.
Fantastic.
You can see that I've been cured of your virus. I got cured over the weekend.
Safety chick is still positive with the virus.
Forgive me, but
She has to be
the
safe.
virus will soon finish running its course, and then I'll be back to normal.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, amazing analysts. Good morning, our amazing viewers. Thank you for being here with us today. Happy to be here. This is a beautiful week, and just excited about the possibilities.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. And then, of course, we have KK on the road, not in the building. KK, I saw your name. You can't hide. You can run.
Good
but you
morning,
can't hide.
everyone.
Show
Good
us
morning,
your nose
analysts.
mask.
Good morning, everybody.
We want
It's
to
good to
see
be
your nose mask.
here.
Good to see you. Good to have you here.
No, I'm Team Jude. I'm Team Jude this morning.
All right, so let's head over to the news, and we will be
Okay,
right
great.
back after we take the headline news. Thank you. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And this is the Good Money Education Show. And if you're just joining us, this is, if it's your first time, please do let us know. And then, of course, we're excited that you're connecting with us. We would like you to tell us where you're connecting from. And of course, do let us know your thoughts, your comments, and all. So, ladies and gentlemen in the building, could you help with the analysis of the I said the analysis of the analyst. My words are looking for expression. They are jumping ahead today. Okay, so over to you guys, analysts.
Seriously, so. I mean, two things stood out for me. The first one being, well, many things stood out for me really, but so I want to touch on two. The first one being the Australia saying that people should prioritize teaching over research, and I just found that really interesting because if you don't do research, then your teaching is not evidence based, right? So I guess what they're trying to say is don't be so focused on the research that you're not pulling it back into using evidence based techniques. So that's what I want to believe that headline is saying. Secondly, there was a headline about hello. Okay. There was a second. I think the last headline really talking about going back to school without ASU's fear about prioritizing no COVID guidelines, clear guidelines, and also going back to school and the danger involved in that. So that was something that hit me as well. And then there was one other one about learning. I can't remember it fully now, but it was talking about learning and the importance of learning. So yeah, those three were great. Yeah, there were things that stood out for me. Of course, the fuel price is the big elephant in the room, but we can't see it, right?
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that is um on everybody's mind. Both the fuel,
Mm-hmm.
like the electricity hike throughout the weekend. My husband was like, "Turn off the light! Don't you know that? Don't you know
Yeah.
that it's now going from 30 naira to 60 naira? We need to learn how to be turning off the lights." So it's something that even me, as I thought about it in the office, I was thinking about what's our monthly electricity like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
like in the new as we fully resume, because we've not fully resumed. As we fully resume, same thing with the fuel price hike. We know that even before the price hike, just the fact that it's been COVID and how things have been slow, the prices have been of transportation have been already hiked. So by the time you add, the fuel hike, so it's a concern for me as we look at some of the things that is going to happen for the average man whose salary has more reduced than increased. So
Nigerian.
we need to hear what the government
Yeah.
plans to do to
Mm-hmm.
ease this transition for some people. I think it's really important knowing that for most people, there has been a reduction in their income. So I think that's really important. I think the second one is
There
ASU's
has.
concern
Mm-hmm.
as we return to school. I think I concerned, but
Yes.
I'm thinking, more than anything else, they should really be saying, this is what we as a body are doing, rather than, join join with beating what I'll call a drum that has been, overflogged. So they should be saying, oh, as individuals, as ASU, we take the general guidance and this is what we're going to do, rather than raise excessively. What are they going to do? Because each university can, from the gates, because they are more enclosed than the average primary and secondary school. So each of them can begin to define and roll out their own guidelines based on the general guidance that has been provided. So I think they should just not point fingers, but more like let's move forward.
Fantastic. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay,
Someone's
safety. Do you want to say something?
Okay, so I'll just continue from where Mrs. Adeusi stopped in saying that the universities at this point, really, education just has to continue. So at this point, what they should be talking about is making their own plans. So whether it's going to happen online or offline, that is not that shouldn't be a problem. You should just focus on creating their own plans and start something, because the truth is, if government is saying school has to start. Just that now, knowing your own unique context, you have to create systems that would favor you so that everybody is compliant. And again, because a school is almost like a university is almost like a community of its own, so it's easy to monitor how things would go down within that your own space. So I think the focus now should be on guidelines and preparing something that suits your unique context. Then also on the issue of the fuel price and all that, I'll just say that we are all in a tough period in the country. And so it's important that government tries to make things as easy as possible for its citizens. Otherwise, people are going to revolt because it's just like there's so much pressure, you know, there's so much pressure everywhere, and then more things are still coming in. It's just going to be too much for people to handle.
All right, thank you very much. Before I ask for Jude's comment, I just want to say good morning and thank you to Chino all the way from Onitsha. Chino is joining us all the way from Onitsha. Hello, everybody say hello to Chino.
Hi.
Hi, Chinonso.
Hello, hello, hello.
Jude, is that you? Hello, hello. Okay, so Jude, over to you. What's your take on the headlines?
Well, I think Lagos State, you are aware Lagos State asking teachers and schools and anybody in the schooling community to take the reopening course, right?
Yes.
You're aware of
Yes.
that. So I think that's compulsory. I've gone through it, and they say you should submit it as a way of evidence that you are ready. So it seems all teachers, especially and school management, must take it. And it's a good thing because at least it keeps everybody on check on what should be done and what should be known about reopening. So that's a good starting point. Take a course for educational experts to at least know where, so that everybody will be on the same page, right? Everybody will be on the same platform and with the same know-how on how to actually resume. So I think that's one of my take on the whole resumption thing.
Fantastic. And we have Ebenezer Odetola Israel in the building. And he has a new look, a new CME look, a special haircut all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to welcome Ebenezer Odetola Israel.
Dr. Ruti Child. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
We want to see your hairstyle.
My hairstyle. That my hairstyle is okay. You want to see me? This is Iben, all the way from Ijebu this morning.
Yes, but let's see the sides of the hairstyle. You know the sides.
This is Mina. This is me. You are seeing me.
Turn your head a bit if you want to see the style.
This
turn your head
this
turn
is me. This is me all the way. Good morning, Lagos. Today I'm not joining from Lagos. I'm joining all the way from Ogun State, Ijebu Ode. And I think I missed the news, but I heard Muguchi talking about the fuel price and resumption, which is one of the scary news for now, especially to so many teachers out there. I know that most teachers are not actually staying around the school, and some of them have not been actually collecting salary for some time. If school is actually resuming, and there are a lot of hardship around it, even for now, for what is it called, transport fee is not smiling at all for now. So imagine the fuel price is now also going up. So it's going to be something else. And I saw another news also that actually says that some set of people will be going on strike. It says some set of people will be going on strike. The lives of NNPC, the lives of almost different, and they are going to be closing shop. I said, I don't know. I think COVID is coming with another set of problem to come and tackle us in this part of the world. But I'm definitely sure that everybody to prepare their mind and get ready for another form of I don't know what to say. But today's topic, I'm ready for today's topic. Good morning, everybody, once again.
Before we go, we understand that you had the CME conference over the weekend,
Yeah.
and it was a successful one.
Yes.
And it was also a first in many perspective and aspect. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure Sia is blushing like somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, do
I
you
have
just
to blush.
in 10 seconds or so, do you want to tell us a little bit about the conference, how it went?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending the conference. Thank you, Mr. Rotimi. Thank you, Titi. I also saw your comment. Mr. Jude missed some part of it, but I observed that he was also there. Thank you, Safety Chicks, and thank you, Mrs. Ajayo Kenyefu, for that powerful class. The conference was for 2 days, and during the first day, it was 7 hours, 8 minutes non-stop conference on YouTube. And if you missed that class, you need to go to my YouTube channel to go and watch everything from the beginning to the end. We started with the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Mrs. Folashade Atifisayo, with our powerful class on leadership. Then we moved to Dr. Kunle Filani and Mrs. Bimbo Oloyede. It was a powerful class. And the second day was awesome. We started with Mr. Rotimi of the Good Morning Education Show. And yes, sir. And it was also another powerful class. And to be sincere, it was a very big success to me. I was just blushing throughout the day that one thing did not happen: network issue. There was no breakdown of network. I was praying overnight that MTN don't come today. Everything should be all right. And I thank God. I did not waste. I used about 70 gig 70 gig for that conference. And I would like to use my 7 gig actually work for what exactly I want. And I thank God, I thank everyone, I thank the education sector, I thank all participants that actually participated.
Thank you
God
very
bless every
much.
one of
You're
us.
sounding like you just won a Grammy. All right, let's
Yes.
get back to the matter of today.
It's worth celebrating.
Fantastic.
It's worth
Yes,
celebrating.
now.
Yeah, no, of course. No, I was just teasing him. I was just
To
teasing him.
host online conference non-stop, man. that,
Non-stop.
that
And you
that's
know
very
that Titi said something about this week. She said it's going to be a great week. And I want to
Yes,
take
so
that and pass it on to Jude because we're going to celebrate Jude's face this week. You know,
oh
hey,
prophetically
yeah.
speaking, we're going to celebrate whether it's Tuesday, whether it's Wednesday, whether it's Thursday,
we
whether
are
it's
going
Friday.
to
I
we can't
know
wait for that day.
this week is your week, Jude. This
yeah,
Receive
week
it.
is your
popping
week.
champagne, we
Receive
popping
it.
champagne.
Receive it.
Receive it, Jude.
Receive it.
Empowered visibility.
Yes,
All right.
so yeah, yeah,
So we're going to
yeah.
go straight to the conversation of today. And uh, already you heard it from Eben is ready, Titi is ever ready, Jude is ready, Ugochi is also ready. And we're going straight to the conversation of today. We're talking about image projection, protection, and perfection. And this topic actually is a topic that I believe that you will find interesting because it affects everybody. It affects everybody, whether you're an aspiring person in your pursuit within education and the learning space, whether you're an established person, whether you're an emerging person, image is important. Image is everything, like some people say. And we had a conversation last week during our Good Morning Education show that made us to talk about this today because we find it as a critical element in everyone's reality. So I'm going to start by bringing Titi on board to ask the question, what is image all about? Because a lot of times when we talk about brands or branding, the focus of people is about a product or an organization or something about adverts. But I believe that today we will be able to spend some time to unveil the length and breadth of what image or a brand is. So, Titi, over to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, what to me kind of answer the question, because your image is how people see you, how people perceive, and it's really beyond. Is the sum total of everything they perceive about. There's a popular saying that dress the way you want to be. So people just, quickly read and perceive you even before you open. So if you're going for an interview, they always say to try and dress properly, because even before you say anything, people tend to have made up their mind how to just remain, just from some of the silent cues that you give. So imagine that you have an interview and you show up at 10. It's part of it. It's telling me something about you. So your image is what people perceive. And people always say that perception is 99% truth. So it is really important that as a person, you ask yourself, what do I want to project? Do I want to project someone that is credible, someone that's knowledgeable about what I'm talking about, someone that exudes quality in all that I do? And it's in everything. If you're a teacher and you write a book, then you have to ensure that your image flows through that. If you present paper, your presentation slides, everything about you just has to show what you want to project. So image is really, really, really important. I think generally the education sector doesn't have a good image. I hear teachers tell me all the time that the way parents talk to teachers is also a reflection of what they perceive. They perceive school teachers sometimes as some, I don't want to say like your boy, what that's just the way I seem to put it. And especially once the school owner also projects that image of the teachers. But when you go to more high-end schools where the teachers are projected better, you see that the parents don't reduce them, talking to them as if, oh, these people are just mere servants and they don't know what it is. So our image is who we project in terms of our confidence. Also what the school owner projects to the parents. When you project that your teachers are efficient, your teachers are, experts in their own rights, then, parents also try to treat them that way. So it's really, really important when the school owner is talking down in the presence of parents. She's bringing down the image of the teachers. So a lot of things really are very important as we look at image, especially when we look at it in the education space. But I'll say your image starts with you, who you want to project when you talk to people and when you interact with people.
I love that. Fantastic. You said something, and I'm going to zone in on that. You said your image starts with you. So anyone listening and following us today, you need to understand, and just like Titi rightfully said, your image starts with you. It's more intrinsic than it is intrinsic. And I normally tell people when I try to get them to understand what image is about. I've heard many people use in our local terms, you say, I don't send. That word, I don't send, sometimes we must be careful. When we say I don't send, meaning like I'm not bothered. You sometimes don't need to be bothered for yourself, but sometimes you need to be bothered for being bothered sake. I don't know if that makes sense. Even if you don't send, you must send, because image is a narrative that is bigger than any form of expression. Why? Because, like you said, perception shapes reality. And I want us to take the journey for people out there to understand that we want to talk about it. As she said, image is everything. Your brand is you. So what we're now going further in the conversation is to look at it from the area of projection. What is the right or what is the appropriate way to project your image? What is the inappropriate way to project your image? What should your image be associated with? And I believe that this question, I'm sure, the only person that I know is going to be the brand ambassador for McLean's is going to be able to answer that question. And ladies and gentlemen, no other. She's even unmuted her mic. She knows it's a calling. That's the whitest teeth in the education space. Ladies and gentlemen, give Safety Chick an opportunity to answer that question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi. Permit me to take a definition. Permit me to take a definition from Wikipedia before I answer that question. What is personal branding? Personal branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create an influence public perception of an individual.
Safety Chick, is it just me or your line is breaking?
By
Hello?
Is Safety Chick breaking?
I think so. I think it's a network.
Them as an
hello, Gucci, can you help?
Authority in their industry. From
hello, okay, so maybe we'll hello, can you hear us? The network is, oh, she's out. All right, so I think we could go straight to Eben. Eben, if you're still there, can you hear us? Eben. Odetola Israel, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Rotimi. Yeah, do you have a question for me?
Yes, I want you to take the question that I gave Safety Chick to answer. So I want you to answer that question.
Okay.
What is the right way?
Can you please remind me the question?
What's the right way to project one's brand, and also what probably could be the inappropriate way to project one's brand?
There are so many ways to actually project someone's brand, especially as a teacher. And there's something Titi actually mentioned during the conversation that so many people actually look down on teachers, especially talking about the way we are being projected. And I've actually seen an example of that. I've been an example of that. There was a time I was actually I was outside of my school compound, and when I was actually working.
Eben, we've lost you. Oh, Safety Chick is back. We've lost Eben.
Okay, so Safety Chick. I think the question is the one throwing people out.
And I can hear everyone. And I can hear
that's
everyone.
what happened to me too. I was hearing everyone, but they were not hearing me.
I can hear everyone. I don't
wrap up on that so that Safety Chick can continue. So Jetola, quickly, since we can hear you now.
Yeah, so there was that. When I actually passed beside those 72 parents, they now say something that I actually
Don't suspect me.
Hello?
I've greeted the internet.
It's Jude that is causing this network problem.
I've greeted the
internet. Oh my God.
Okay, so maybe even let's activate the network with Jude. Let's put it to Jude. So when they see their own, they will recognize their own and then connect properly. So Jude, okay, Jude, let Jude be the sacrificial lamb. Jude, I want you to say something on this. If you of course have talked about branding with technology. You've talked about making sure that we have local content, which is part of image projection. Because a lot of times we don't find a good representation on this platform. So when we all even migrate online, we still find out that we are taking chunks of content that does not represent our own social reality. So tell us a little bit about that as
well. Image is very important, especially when it comes to. Okay, let me even give an example. Go online and maybe to Pixabay or to Pixel and look for black content. You find that it's almost non-existent. a black man doing things, but compared to the other races, especially white contents, you find that we have more. So I was discussing maybe with Rhoda also, or she was discussing telling me something like, why is it like? I said because somehow maybe black people we don't value the way we project ourselves, or we are waiting for people to project us. I think that might be the key, because those websites, they allow you upload content free of charge. So I think it's now beckon on us to actually project our work life, project our society, or project or whatever content we're trying to project on images right online, because it's very key that anytime you're trying to search for something, is going to be tailored towards white people, even up to holding a cup of coffee. You can hardly find a black man hold a cup of coffee. It must be like a white person associated with it. So image is very key in terms of how we project our race, how we project our profession, how we project our even personal life, our personal branding. So if we boil it down to being personal, projecting your image as a personality is very important in how people will perceive you, or perceive the energy behind you. Because sometimes we might misjudge somebody based on maybe they were not projecting their image properly. That's the truth. People will always misjudge you when you are not properly presenting yourself, or when you are not well you are not well designed. You don't design your projection properly. Not that you're putting up a facade, but it's very key that people should understand how they should approach you, because it's very important. People should understand how they should approach you. People should understand how they can relate with you, and at any point, people should understand what you stand for, because that is key in even interacting with anybody, even beyond your profession. People should understand what you stand for, and that is our unique selling point. What you stand for is actually also your unique selling point. So that's how
Fantastic.
it's image.
Okay, so safety check. I thank you for that, Jude. Safety check, over to you. You were saying something, but I want you to quickly answer that question so that I can also follow up with that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to read a definition from Wikipedia before I answer. And the definition is
Can you
personal
answer,
branding
please?
is, yes, of course. The because this definition actually answers it. Personal
Okay.
branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of an individual by positioning them as an authority in their industry, elevating their credibility, and differentiating themselves from the competition to ultimately advance their career, increase their circle of influence, and have a larger impact. So, personal
Correct.
branding is not something that, yes, it's not something that is just done for doing sake. You must have an agenda, and it is in your own best interest for your agenda to be positive. Because when your agenda is positive, ultimately it helps you to advance in your career, it increases your circle of influence. And so when you see certain teachers who have gone the extra mile to differentiate themselves, it's so easy to understand why opportunities gravitate towards them. Good stuff goes towards them because they have differentiated themselves. They have shown that they are an authority in their space, and it has elevated their credibility. And so it's really important that we must be very
Safety check.
intentional
Yeah,
when
I
positioning ourselves. And
All right, thank you. She's done. She dropped the mic. She broke the mic. She disconnected the mic. She off the mic in a Nigerian way. All right.
yeah,
So
but she made very valid, sorry, you intentional, conscious effort. I think those three things from the definition she read just sums it up. Intentional, conscious effort to create, to impact, to influence.
yeah, because I've noticed that in the bid of having to be many masters or having to be many voices, I've come to realize that what we actually are doing, that we call branding is actually not branding, right? And we find out that most people are consciously gravitating to be intentional and to be deliberate to look alike rather than stand out. Because if you look at the history of branding in itself, it started from the farms where you have people who have cattle, and because they needed to differentiate their cows from the other, there is something they do. They do it for horses as well, but because horses have shoes, they do more for cows. So they bore an insignia and put it on the cow skin. So it's a mark on the cow to be able to say that this is Titi's cow, this is Safety Chick's cow, this is Jude's cow, this is Rotimi's cow. That's actually where branding came. So the goal of branding is not similarity, but distinctiveness. You understand? There has to be distinctives. And so you see, most times when people see one person doing something, they tend to now say that's what everyone must be doing, and which is what really happened last week when we talked about that this trend only gives birth to what we have as the copycat culture. And I like to bring Titi on that. How have we been able to curb that? Why do we see an increasing tide of communal behavior, look-alikeness, copycat culture, where people are so unresourceful or people are so cheaty that that's the only thing they do. So they are waiting for a safety chick. Before you know it, you have a safety team. Before you know it, you have a safety bloke. Before you know it, you have a safety gigolo. And everybody will just be using safety, safety, safety. At some point in time, is a sax person. Someone will say so sax. Before you know it, you have 12 people say so sax. Why is this happening, Titi?
Honestly, Rotimi, I would say it. They say that for there to be a fake, there must be an original. So people gravitate towards what's successful. People gravitate towards what's already known because it's a thing of association. And that's really where it starts. It's like, look at even footballers and their victory signs, the successful one. Everybody then wants to gravitate towards that because it's already a known symbol of success. So that's what happened. You know how it is. People already know that, and people want to quickly use that as a leverage point to quickly project themselves. So people will do that, and it will always continue to happen. It's just the way things are. But in the end, there's something that would stand out in the crowd. It's when you are being authentic. After a while, when all of us are looking alike, people then only notice what is different. And that's what always happens. So when you start out and allow yourself to follow the crowd, know that one day you end up being just that, the crowd. You need to end up trying to be authentic, trying to be yourself. So as you create a personal brand, I think it's important that for us to highlight that don't get carried away with what's popular, what's already reigning. People want that because they want to quickly leverage on success as against try to build it up. Because it is safety chick is already a known brand. So people are already searching for safety chick. So it's easy for me to add safety something because I want to leverage on the success of others. But in the end, you have to get to a point where you are authentic, where you are yourself, so that you stand out. And if you don't, you just be like the crowd. So look at what brands like Apple have done. They made up their mind to be authentic. They always stand out. So in the end, when you're different is when you're going to stand out. It's easy to get carried away. People just want to leverage and associate immediately with success. We all do that. It's in everything. It's not even just in education. It's like there's a popular hairstyle and everybody's cutting that hairstyle because it's already an association with what is cool or what is reigning. The same thing with slangs. But if it comes to personal branding, I would say each person needs to say what's unique because we are all different. What's very unique about you? That when people look in the crowd, you stand out. So look for what's unique. It might take some time for you to find, but you need to be what's unique. I may not give in to the pressure. It's same even in Nigeria kids as we are as a brand. People say, oh, but why can't your something be more like this? Oh, but other people's things are like this. sometimes you have to make that conscious effort to say, yes, that's what everybody, but what do I want to stand out for? What do I want to be uniquely known for? What's authentic me all about? So it's something like a constant battle. So I understand the battle people go through. It's a constant battle that we all want. Everybody say, oh, but these are motivational speakers talk. Why aren't you doing this? Rotimi, I'm sure you've heard that. But these are what other people are doing. Why aren't you doing this? There's always a push by the audience to to blend. But you need to always step back and say, what's the authentic me?
I totally agree with you. Which you say sometimes it's a battle that, and I've also witnessed it, even though I've not told you this from our conversation. Sometimes I know you always say that somebody said something, and for example, somebody said, "Do you also have this service?" And I say, "No," but you could tell someone, and I'm like, "Okay, it is different." Some people, they are like everything, and that's why I might be sounding a bit troublesome if I say this, but you understand I'm being objective here, where a lot of times people use truth statements to back up wrong intentions and motives. So, for example, you hear people say you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And because it is true you shouldn't reinvent the wheel, what they're actually now saying is they're justifying that, look for what's happening out there, clamp on it, if possible, override it, and through the spirit of enterprise or capitalism, gain prominence. Why do you need to rack your head? Why do you need to think? Distinctiveness is old school, right? And a lot of people have such philosophies, and sometimes it works. Most times they don't get fulfilled even with the successes they are able to achieve. And so, which is really what will take us to the next side of it. And I want to hear Jude's perspective and Safety Chick's perspective, that while we keep projecting our image, there's so much drive out there. How do we ensure that there's brand protection? How do we ensure that there's image protection? So, Jude, I'd like you to spend some time, to talk about the protection side of it. I've mentored people, I'm still mentoring people, I've coached people, I'm still coaching people, and I've heard lots of stories, right? How do you protect your brand? How do you protect your image?
I would like to. This topic resonates so much with me and with so much with what I do and believe in. I'll take an example from Samsung and Apple, right? So prior to this time, when phones were coming up, technology was just developing. You find that, go and check some articles or some journals or some news, maybe 5 years ago, to be precisely, you find that Samsung was copying Apple design. And it got so bad that Apple will come up with a case that they copied this curve from Samsung, copied this curve of their phone from Apple, and Apple wants some billions or some millions from Samsung for copyright infringement. And I got me thinking that Samsung was coming up, right? So they were trying to identify themselves, trying to identify their niche, and trying to identify to some point in time, it became evident that they were copying. But as at this point, Samsung is on its own, and it's a brand name, and it's a standard. We even have issues where we find that Apple is copying Samsung in one way or the other, and it's obvious now that creativity matters a lot in branding yourself. And in protection, what Apple actually did was they were copywriting almost everything, or they were what they call it, intellectual property. So they were protecting, filing for this protection or the other. So once you infringe or copy anything, it is they can sue you and all that. So for personal brand or for business brand protection, the key thing in protection is your quality or your value, right? Now, no matter how you see a Chinko iPhone, because I've seen Chinko iPhone, and you compare it with the real iPhone, there's always going to be the signature quality There's going to be this signature value that iPhone has put in, which this Chinko phone will never put that kind of effort. So in protection, one of your best way to protect yourself is actually come out as quality as possible. Come out as to be known as a genuine brand, because it matters a lot. If people will have to copy you, they will have to do the work to come up with a such high quality. So if they can't come up with it, definitely your quality will actually distinguish you, because no two brand can copy each other if they can't distinguish themselves from their qualities. And take for example jeans like denim like Levi's. You know Levi's jeans now. I don't. It's not too popular. It's not too popular. If you look at, there's always one tag on Levi's jeans. They'll tell you that this jeans, it's almost like it's indestructible. They say they'll advise you to transfer it to somebody else if you are no longer using it. So it's almost like indestructible. Yeah, go and read their tag. I like that's why I actually love Levi's jeans.
It's almost
tell
like
you that
a claim. You know, that's
yes,
a bold claim.
that this brand can never be destroyed. And even if you are tired of using it, you can transfer it to somebody else. So that's like a signature quality. And my car too, like Rolls Royce. You find that Rolls Royce will always brag with the silence of their engine, which no brand actually has claim over till this point. Their new model is so silent that their engineer had to make it loud a bit, because it was their signature quality of being silent and being smooth on the road. So I think your brand quality should match with high performance, high authenticity, and high genuineness to it actually distinguish you, at least for the first phase.
Thank you so much. So there you have it. Just a second before you say something, Titi. Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay. Is Titi saying something? Titi, we can't hear you. Hello? Titi, can you hear us? We can't hear you. Hey, Titi's turn. Jude, your village people have followed us to the show. Tech attack. Okay, I love the way you said your for those of you who can hear, while we're waiting for Titi to connect our audio, Jude said that your signature value or your quality is some form of signature to protect your image as a brand or to protect your image as an individual. And I like that. I'm sure the world can hear what Jude has just said. But I like to say this, and Jude and Safety Chick, I'm sure you agree with me. If you notice something, right, you will realize that we are in a society that most times we attain success without necessarily going through the process. So almost one major thing that is typical about us is that we are not necessarily thorough people. Even though we get successful at what we do, it's at the expense of the process. And so this is where the protection thing really comes in, because I love the way you just said it. So imagine when you just are in a hurry to start up, to do stuff. Those of us who are familiar with advertising, you find out that for a product to even go out there, there's something called product launch. There's a way they introduce that product so that they make sure that the product does not suffer any form of image issues, acceptability issues, acceptance issues. And this is where I want probably, before Titi, you were about to say something. I hope you've not forgotten what you wanted to say, but I want Safety Chick to take a bit of what I've just said. Because you see, most people don't go through the process, right? It's just a name, claim, fame kind of model. So Safety Chick will quickly say that so that we can have Titi. We'll read the comments after Titi. So Safety Chick in 20 seconds, please. Let's talk about that.
30 seconds. What am I going to say?
20.
Okay, what I will say now, they should buy my book on building a personal brand, because in that book, I've itemized the steps, step by step, on how to do it. Because the truth is, there is a process to this thing. It's not enough for you to just have one fancy name. Even if people find your fancy name, people are going to come and check you out. So when they come to check you out, they need to see the work you have done. They need to see what exactly do you stand for. So if they come and they check and they do not see anything, you would have lost that traffic. But if you have built great credibility, you have shared content surrounding your niche area, you have documented it, you have shown proof, it makes it easy for them to take the conversation to the next level. That is
Thank
how
you
I've been
so
able
much.
to get a lot of opportunities, just because people checked and what they saw rhymed with what they had heard. So it's so important that you don't fixate on just a name. You must have the content. It is so, so important. And guys, get that personal brand book. The reviews have been amazing. It's a step-by-step method, and it
Thank
just helps
you.
you.
Thank
And
you.
again, on
Thank
the
you.
thing of protection, I
Thank
have to
you.
add, on the thing of protection, I want to talk about protection. I have a
No, you
trademark.
no. 30 tick, you did not keep to my time.
Okay,
I am
I
not going to
stop.
allow you to talk
Sorry,
about it.
I'm
So,
stopping.
over to you.
Okay, what I wanted to say when Jim was talking is that when you copy, you would make money in the immediate term. So there are a lot of brands that they are nameless. People buy because they are what people tend to say they are cheap knockoffs. So they would make money, but you just be in the crowd. So it goes back to that safety definition of personal brand. What's your objective in terms of your personal brand? Is it to impact? Is it to influence? Is it to stand out? Is it to be known as an expert? If it's those things, then you need to be authentic you. But if it's just rush to make money, they can just go, copy Rotimi's book, and then you quickly leverage on that because Rotimi's book was already a bestseller, and then just call it something else, and then a lot of people will buy it. But if you want to be in a place of impact, if you want to be in a place of influence, if you want to, be an expert in your area, then you have to be authentic.
Thank you so much. And I think we need to really send a word of caution to people out there that we must not get too caught up, in that craze of fame. In fact, fame should never be a promise. It should just be a reality because it has a crippling effect on most people. I've seen the quality of people decline just at the moment of fame, the realization of fame. In fact, some people um, they've come to a point where they didn't know that they would have that kind of sudden success. So all of a sudden, they are now invincible to their growth. They are no longer growing. They are now coming from the perspective of being one who has arrived. And that's a very, very dangerous point because you start seeing it in conversations, you start seeing it in assertions, you start seeing it in what they postulate out there. And so we're talking about image projection, protection, and perfection. And before we end the show today, we're going to take comments. And while we take comments, we will come back to the perfection side of it. That perfection is very important. We will not end the show without that. We have a very short time left. So, Safety Chick will still talk about your book, and that's not that I've forgotten. But then let's quickly talk about the comments. So, Jude, do you want to read the comments quickly for us?
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Education show. That's from Favor.
Okay.
Chinonso connecting from Onitsha. Welcome, Chinonso.
Okay.
Ugochi Okore, my fellow tech sister. Good morning, everybody, everyone. The topic is brand projection and protection. Spelling bee, image is everything because it shapes perception and also affects perception. Mr. Rotimi, you must be intentional about what you want to project. That's from TT Adeus. Oh, Mr. Rotimi, teachers must be well projected. This must be done by the school and the teachers themselves. That's from our analyst TT Adewusi. Niger kids, quoting safety check. There must be consciousness when it comes to image projection. Oh, from Abigail Solomon. Good morning, great educators. Okay, from Solomon. Abigail, branding requires distinctiveness. Very correct, sir. Team Master quoting TT Adewusi. Don't give in to pressure. Oh, okay. Ifiok, welcome, Ifiok. With personal branding, people need to clearly identify what the purpose is. The way individual brands will stand, that's the individual brands will stand out. Yes, thank you, Ifiok. From the learning craft, your signature value and quality is a sure way to protect your brand and image. That's from my humble self, Mr. Jude. Oh, from Theophilus, Cornerstone. You guys are doing great. Yes, thank you, Theophilus, and especially for your consistency. Yes, consistency is our brand now.
Okay, so Safety really needs to say something. Let me allow you to say in 30 seconds. Safety check. Don't repeat all.
Rotimi, why are you putting up?
Okay, so
Safety
on the
check.
issue of protection, on the issue of protection, I would just say that yes, sir.
Protection or perfection.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Protection or perfection.
Protection or perfection. Okay, what would you
Continue.
like
Just
me
talk
to
about
speak on? Anything, I'm fine.
No. Just say it.
Protection.
Okay, on the issue of
Yeah.
okay, on the issue of perfection, it's just about being consistent. Keep doing the work that you're doing. At the beginning, things will not be perfect, but be willing to evolve, be willing to learn, and be willing to grow. So with that, you become that credible authority in that niche.
All right. Thank you. So, Titi, do you want to say something on perfection as we bring this to a close?
Perfection. I think it's just continue to be, refine you. Be consistent every day. I'm for Rome wasn't built in a day, so just keep building block after block, and then one day everybody will behold the beautiful tapestry that is your brand.
All right. Then, Dr. Jude.
I think I would say one of my strong points, or one of my what I really adhere to as my philosophy for branding, is quality and value. Very important, quality and value, because not many uh, brands are actually pushing quality and value, or are actually representing quality and value.
All right. I think one more comment from so she's saying, be consistent, be willing to evolve, learn, and grow. Oh, that's up. Thank you very much. And to those who joined us today for the first time, we'd like to appreciate you for joining, and we're ringing the bell of blessing to you. For those who consistently join us, we're ringing the bell of blessing to you. For those who like and don't say anything, we're still ringing the bell of blessing to you. For those who watch the replay, this is the bell of blessing to you. For those who send us customized stops, mugs, and chocolates, biscuits, or whatever they would like to send us to project their brands on the show and advertise, this is a bell of blessing to you. And of course, for those who send alerts to Titi, to Gochi, those who buy our book, and those who subscribe to our course, and all the other things that we're doing, guess what? Bell of blessing to you. To our ambassador in UAE, Ifiok Ido Ikago, this is a bell of blessing to you. To all those who are in Onitsha, who are streaming live and joining us, guess what? You know what I've just done? I've consistently shown you what branding is all about. We project our image, we project, protect, and we perfect. And of course, to perfect means to be one who is consistent, who evolves, like our analyst has said. Make sure that in all that you do, right, you do something not just for yourself, but for other people. Progressively do something and project it as you do it. And make sure that your objective is not to be like other people, right? There's so many people in the world. Be yourself. Others are already taken. This is signing out on the Good Morning Education Show. Please log on to Facebook, follow our analysts, connect with them on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Safety Chick has a book on personal branding. I have also books on that as well. Please ensure that you connect with us for further resources, and you would always, always, always get the best. Someone says Safety Chick needs to be given 30 more seconds. So Safety Chick, someone is advocating for you. That's if she's advocating for you. But 30 seconds you had actually. And someone saying, I love this. As we say bye-bye, make sure you have a great day. And remember, like we say on the Good Morning Education Show, it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. See you tomorrow. Bye.